Welcome to the show. I'm Kathy Ireland. No business can survive without computerized systems in place to speed and simplify workflow. Fortunately, creating customized apps doesn't have to be difficult or time-consuming. Martin Beringer, North American CEO of Neptune Software, joins us today to talk about his company's low-code rapid app development software. Welcome, Martin.
Thanks for having us. Appreciate it.
Martin, what is digital transformation?
Digital transformation in a nutshell is the process that all enterprises have to go through, especially the ones that have been around for quite a few decades, right? Because they have pretty aged business processes and a lot of paper and Excel, PDFs, and they need to modernize these processes. They have to digitalize that in order to get actionable data that they can then use to improve their business processes. And if they fail to do that, especially if they're in a vertical that's vulnerable to disruption, they might end up being disrupted. So it's really critical that they catch up quickly to the consumer app market, which, as you know, since the inception of the iPhone, everything has happened really quickly, and there are just thousands and thousands of apps out there. For the enterprise, this is infinitely more complex because of all the business processes that they have.
Right. And so who is your app development software designed for, and what do they use it for?
It's primarily designed for developers, right? We want to make developers' life simple to be able to accelerate this process. Because the reason that the enterprise struggles so much with this process is because they have tons of architecture in IT, and they have to leverage multiple different backends. Some of this stuff can be as old as from the late 80s, like an IBM AS400, for example. They might have hundreds of instances of ERP all over the world, and they have to somehow consolidate all these systems, right? So by standardizing the application development process and going away from this manual coding everything in multiple different languages, we really drastically reduce the risk for the enterprise and IT.
So we provide a platform as a key driver of business innovation, simplifying complex integration and development processes to increase competitive advantage. We put the developers at the core of the business by providing them with a platform that supports speed, flexibility, and business value. You might say that our solution unifies your entire world of applications under one look and feel.
We have 500 companies that are using Neptune at the moment, over 2 million end users. We have 40% of top 10 Fortune 500 companies in our portfolio, but really Neptune can be used by any size company. Regarding why customers are using Neptune software, I recently asked this question to a large car manufacturer, one of the largest in the world, why they have chosen us as a development platform. And they said that they had been looking for years and they had a missing part in their system landscape. And they called it the black box. And when they found Neptune, that fit in perfectly. So I think we are filling a huge gap in the technological landscape today.
Neptune Software is unique because in many ways we are not only a diverse company, but we listen to our customers. So we bring that input from our customers directly into the product development in such a rapid and agile way that we can deliver to market very quickly what the market wants.
And Martin, how has Neptune been able to garner the acceptance of so many Fortune 500 brands?
This is really exciting, and we're very passionate and proud of what we have accomplished there, especially in the last 3 years. And the reason we have had so much success is because we succeed where a lot of the other platforms struggle, and that is by accommodating the complexity that is there. Because if you look at some of our customers, so you're talking about oil field services companies that have oil rigs out in the middle of nowhere or oil fields in the middle of a desert, they might not always have internet, right? Well, if you have no internet and you have to use an application offline, you still need to have access to your master data. And that is complex, and we have really been successful in situations like that. And we have a real trusted relationship with our customers, which is fun.
Martin, can you please give us a case study of how this works in the cloud?
I think one of the most exciting case studies I've been a part of was for one of the largest pharma and medical device manufacturing companies in the world. And They have cloud systems, and they have systems as old as an IBM AS400, right? And everything in between, hundreds of ERP instances. And they use Amazon Web Services and really do a nice job in consolidating and building a unified, standardized, both from a development standpoint and from an end user's approach, where everybody can consume these applications. So they also integrate a lot of the new buzzwords out there. I'm sure you've heard IoT before, right? And blockchain. So for example, in manufacturing processes, equipment constantly communicates lots and lots of data. And that data is only valuable if you actually can make it actionable and analyze it and correlate that with your production processes, right? So we can actually go into these data lakes and we can pull these IoT data points and we can put the beautiful analytics behind them. And then for serialization, so there's new regulatory requirements in pharmaceuticals where you have to be able to identify where all the raw materials came from and which finished product they ended up in. And there are blockchain use cases around that that are also very cool, and it's fun to be a part of that because blockchain is about as cutting edge as it gets.
My name is Alex Trossman. I'm AVP Senior Manager at Sotheby's, where I manage a team of ABAP developers. For those of you who do not know, ABAP is SAP proprietary language which SAP used to develop its own software. Our team is responsible for the day-to-day support of the critical business functions for our company, along with working on various initiatives and projects for the organization. One of the huge benefits of Neptune Software is the fact that any organizations can utilize their ABAP talent to develop robust mobile solutions. So it required very little training. The developers were able to learn the Neptune quite fast, and thus it really helped us to onboard the team quite fast.
Our warehouses have Wi-Fi coverage, but not 100% Wi-Fi coverage. The offline capabilities that Neptune gives us allows our art handlers and technicians to perform their jobs in an uninterrupted fashion. They can go into the areas where there's no Wi-Fi coverage, scan all the items they need to, and when they return to Wi-Fi coverage, they're able to upload those changes into our back-end SAP system without interruption.
Can you talk about the user experience of these apps? How do you ensure that the apps people create with your software are a pleasure to use?
The secret sauce there is to involve the end users very early on in the process. Once again, the traditional way is you start with wireframing, right? And then a whole bunch of development work goes in, and then sometime at the end of that cycle, the end user might actually see their application for the first time. And now it's quite a few hours into this project at that point, could be months, right? So with low-code development, it's almost like your rapid prototyping. You can have the end user sitting at the same table with you while you start putting together the basic user experience for them. And they say, I like this, or I don't like this, or could you move this field around and make this button bigger, change the font? You can make all this stuff happen right as you're actually building the app. So when the finished product happens, you already have user acceptance and buy-in.
Martin, can you give us some examples of the types of apps businesses have developed using Neptune software?
So we touch just about every vertical. That's part of what's really exciting because we get to learn a lot too. So we have a university that has replaced their entire HR or employee self-service portal with Neptune software. They had dozens of applications and they were all stuck with a user experience that looked somewhat dated. They did a survey of their users and they said, well, I've been using iOS for a long time, but I cannot use our portal on iOS because it doesn't render right, because the technology was so dated. And with Neptune, they got this into an award-winning UX that everybody loves, and they were able to make that transformation happen in just a few months.
Well, congratulations on that. Martin, what does the future hold for Neptune software?
We are striving to get mass adoption by developers because it all starts with that. If we have a lot of developers that know how to leverage our platform, then they can make a difference in the digital transformation of their companies. And if they are successful with that, then they'll be more profitable, and then we can all thrive together.
Well, Martin, it sounds like Neptune software provides an excellent way for businesses to design custom apps and computing solutions to manage their work. Congratulations on your great success, and thank you for joining us.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure.
And thank you for watching. I'm Kathy Ireland.